Hello, star seeds, soul fam, old souls, earth angels, and everybody else out there. It's day 4 of our 30-day challenge, which means you'll be seeing a video from me every day for the month of August. And if you are new to my channel, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, drop a comment below. Thank you for all the love and support. So let's see, what is the intention for day 4? I'm just connecting into those awesome 17th density light beings, and the intentions keep getting bigger and bigger every day. Today we are going to be setting the intention to release religious programming, specifically through past lifetimes in religious service, and also releasing soul wounds that are related to religious service. The guides are also saying if you want to redo this intention for your other soul wounds, they think that would be a really great idea. So let's just touch on what are soul wounds. And soul wounds are something that everybody has unless they are born with no karma or they've never really been to earth before, but there can be soul wounds that come through multidimensionally as well, so that's a different story. But anyways, soul wounds are themes that we have carried throughout past lifetimes. So for example, myself, I had a soul wound of failure that was like every single lifetime I ever had ended up being caught up in this energy of failure, and a lot of those were religious past lifetimes. One that really comes to mind is it's the bubonic plague in Paris in France, and I'm like a priest and I'm one of those guys who wears the bird mask, but it's like we can't do anything and everybody around us is dying, and it really sucked. So that is one of my past lifetimes that I kept coming back to, that kept leading me into these patterns and cycles that were really not fun. So the guides are just saying, they're laughing a little bit, but yeah, the guides are just saying by identifying these soul wounds or these energies that are themes and cyclical in our lives, we can then start to move past them by becoming the observer and taking responsibility for the energy. And let's ask them, what exactly do they mean by taking responsibility for that energy? So they're saying this is something you all chose to work through. All past lifetimes are happening at the same time, so it's a theme that you chose for yourselves. So just by taking that responsibility, you can start to shift the energy and see the lessons that you had to learn. Example, one of the lessons I had to learn in letting go of failure was that I cannot control the outcome for everybody. I had to let go of control, which was pretty difficult in some settings, but in other settings not so much. And also it was really showing me that I had experienced lifetimes of pain and separation and karma, and just like hadn't really experienced many lifetimes in the lighter side of things, the more enjoyable side of things on earth. So that was a really big moment for me to realize that karmically I needed to shift my own energy in order to come out of those cycles, loops, and patterns, which I know sounds really complicated, but when we are being assisted by these magical multi-universal beings, they can just remove things from our energy like they're just like pulling strings off of a sweater. That sounds weird because when you pull strings on a sweater it makes holes, so that's a pretty weird analogy, but they're saying to imagine it like our souls are these cloths that are woven, predestined fabrics, and they have all these little patches on them. So we have all of our soul groups on there, like everyone watching right now has that Earth Angels soul group. Everybody watching out there has that Star Seeds for Earth's Ascension soul group. Yeah, I think so. Everybody has a Star Seeds patch. Okay, there's lots of patches, and then our soul wounds become these patches that have like frayed edges, and then they start to separate the other patches, so they're just like pulling and unraveling these dirty patches, and then they can fill that space up with like blue holographic light and start to put in new energies. So that's an interesting way of describing what it is they're doing. So basically they're healing us on a soul level multidimensionally, simply just by alchemizing energies, by removing them, recycling them, and reprogramming them. So they said it's actually very simple what they're doing. Awesome. And for me personally, I had like 7 soul wounds when I came into discovering what my soul wounds were, but a lot of people just have like 1 or 2 soul wounds, so lucky you, yay. And it can be really, 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 really life-changing to go through that energy and sort of change or transmute it so that it's not impacting you in a way that makes it feel like maybe you're cursed or you know, something like that. If you want to have more help one-on-one with soul wounds, go on my website and book a session with me, because I know it can be very daunting for some, especially if you're in a cyclical pattern of like things are never going to get better. That can be like something that is difficult to pull yourself out from, but totally possible to do, especially if you have the right help. So that brings us to past lifetimes in religious service. If you have been noticing a lot in your reality, different religious things popping up on Netflix, if you have like the most random evangelical stuff popping up on your YouTube feed and you're like, what is going on here? That's really not me. Yeah, that's something that happens to me. And if you're like really drawn to certain cultures that are dominantly, I'm trying to find the right word here, Muslim, yeah, or if you, other example of myself, when I was like 8 years old, I got really mad at my parents because they didn't give me a communion. And my parents were like, what in the world is she talking about? Because we had never even been to church and we were not religious at all. So that's an example of a past life religious block or program pattern running really deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind that is negatively impacting your reality. Some of you may also be religious in this lifetime, which is great. I support you in that and I love you. But I know that in certain religions, example again, Catholicism, that you actually like take vows of unworthiness all the time. And you literally like speak that into existence. So those are some things that you are gonna probably want to work through at some point, correcting that energy and making yourself feel worthy again. I think it's really important for everybody to feel worthy, especially worthy of being loved. Another one that I've been really drawn to, which I'm gonna say from my bracelet today, I've got like Buddha and I've got like a little monk. I've also been really drawn to Thailand to go visit all these temples I used to live at, and also China and other areas of the world. Another religion we could go into is Buddhism, where you would actually take vows of poverty, vows of silence. Some of you might even have vows of celibacy from either any religions. You could literally have vows and patterns and programs running to never ever enjoy yourself or experience happiness, or to like never eat and to starve yourself. There's like all kinds of weird things coming through right now. Yeah, You could also have like fragments of yourself in another part of the world and be so drawn to go to Paris or Tiger Cave Temple in Thailand because there's literally a piece of your soul waiting there for you to go and release it. So with that being said, I feel like we should probably call some of our soul fragments that are around the world back to us in this now moment. Just calling all of our soul fragments that have fractured off in religious service back into our bodies, allowing our higher self to just stop them before they come in and give them a once over and realign their energy so that they can be supporting us in our highest calling of love and light, whatever that looks like for you. And just allowing that to come in, to take effect. Another thing that you could have soul wounds from that's related to religious past lives is you could have been a knight in the Crusades. You could have been any kind of religious warrior, or you could have been in those religious wars with, like, I want to say like the Byzantines or the Ottomans, where they used to like cut people's tongues out for not renouncing God, and you could have like all kinds of speech issues or a really hard time speaking your truth. I probably shouldn't say stuff like that on YouTube, but whoops. So there's been all kinds of stuff like that. And then there's also been that whole like Catholic Protestant struggle in like England in the past and Ireland and all those places. I'm not really gonna get super into that, but then they're also saying like we gotta focus on the positive too. So everybody who's been in past lives of religious service, that doesn't always mean that we had a bad experience. Sometimes we had a really positive experience, and we experienced these like huge beautiful churches along the Star Line in England. Before we get into positive experiences, they're just saying like some of the people in the audience had those Cathar lifetimes. I know that's part of my soul group fam too, so we just really want to do a clearing of that, because it's really making you scared to be who you are, because you are scared. So I just really want to help everyone, including myself, clear those lifetimes of being a Cathar. Anyone who resonates with that, they're saying also do some clearing for all of those those religious knight guys with the red cross. What are they called again? The Templars. Thank you. Yeah. Clearing out those Templar lifetimes and the karma from those lifetimes, okay? Because there's a lot of karma from those Templar lifetimes, thought forms, timelines, whatever you want to call those existences, those energies of who we are. And then they're also saying to go ahead and do clearings for when we were in service to the crown. So just clearing any patterns, programs, realities, beliefs, anything that's ready to go at this time from those situations and scenarios. So now we're stepping into a more positive note, as I always like to do. And they're really just showing me like those big, beautiful churches in England that are all like sacred geometry, and those cathedrals. They're showing that French one that burnt down. I want to say that's Notre Dame, but again, I've got no clue. So also all of those really magical, beautiful cathedrals in Italy. They're showing that cave where Mary Magdalene went after Jesus passed away, Lourdes, like all of these really beautiful places, and they're almost all along this ley line called the Rose Line. So there has been a lot of really positive, benevolent, beautiful experiences that people have had in those religious lifetimes as well, and we just want to really activate that beauty and that sacred duty and power, and bring that into equilibrium by transmuting all of the negativity and putting it behind us once and for all. So that's going to be the intention for today. That's what we're going to be working through. And yeah, they're also showing a lot of that's awesome. They're showing like these pilgrimages, everyone doing these lifetimes of pilgrimages. I'm seeing going to that spot in Israel where Jesus was baptized. I'm seeing like riding donkeys through the desert, but even way in the past from that, I'm seeing like all these Lemurian, really fancy, regal looking high priests and priestesses traveling from ancient Lemuria to places like Mount Shasta in California and doing these sacred rites and initiations. So I feel like we're gonna do a sacred initiation right now. Yeah, just bringing on the codes and the activations from those pilgrimages, bringing on that wanderer energy as well, which can serve us in really so many ways, and really just balancing the divine feminine and divine masculine, just letting that come into balance. So they're also saying that I should take note here that most of the lifetimes where I perceived as negative or had a negative experience, I was living as a male, and almost all of the positive ones, I was living as a female. So that's interesting, and I have noticed that before. Yeah. Okay, so we're just kind of alchemizing that as a belief right now. So letting everybody put in their highest self to put in any beliefs that are ready to be alchemized right now. Just bringing through a little bit of extra alchemy for today's intention, because like I said, it is a big one. And if I had to ask the guides, the Akashic records, what percentage of my past lives was I in religious service or service to the crown, they're gonna say 90%, like instantly. So that's a lot, and I'd say that means it's a pretty big chunk of energy to work through, but that doesn't mean it has to be difficult. Everything can be easy. So let's also bring through that frequency of universe, show me how easy it can be, show me how good it can get, show me how fast it can come through. Show me how much magic I can create in mere seconds. Bringing through that frequency and that energy of divine bliss, alchemy, and miracles. And I think that's going to be it for today's intention. Enjoy.